So, Howard Barbanel here on July 22nd with some advice for President Trump. The media has been attacking the Trump administration pretty hard over what's happening with the COVID virus in this country. On the one hand, they're saying there needs to be a strong and vigorous federal response, national response. And on the other hand, when the president tried to do that a few months ago in terms of reopening the country, he got a lot of blowback from the same media and all the Democratic governors who said that the federal government doesn't have the power to do that, that power resides with the states. So, which is it? But what's interesting is that despite a lot of healthcare authority residing with the states, the federal government did step in and resolve the ventilator problem, the PPE problem, the mask problem, etc. But what's fascinating is that the president's being excoriated for the 130,250 COVID deaths as of today, according to the CDC, which they consider to be a travesty. And look, every person who passed away from this illness is a personal and family tragedy. There's no doubt about it. But what's been politicized is the fact that these 130,250 deaths represent a failure on the part of the Trump administration to protect Americans. Now, what's interesting about this is that all the projections when the pandemonium about the pandemic got started called for 2.2 million American deaths if the government did nothing. Now, we know that the government did a lot, okay? And that included sending hospital ships and creating field hospitals and not to mention the CARES Act, which spent trillions of dollars to bolster local governments and put $600 a week into the hands of millions of Americans, etc. And the payroll protection plan that helped out a lot of small and mid-sized businesses. But okay, let's get back to what we're talking about here. So all the prognostications, the predictions that caused the nationwide hysteria were that 2.2 million people were going to die if the government did nothing. Okay, so we have today, as of July 22nd, and this is March, April, May, June, we're into July, we're like into the fifth month of this thing, 130,250 deaths. Now, if I were Mr. Trump, what I would be saying every day is because of us, 2,069,750 people are alive. We have saved the lives of 2,069,750 Americans because your government stepped in and acted and was responsive in the face of the virus. It's not 130,250 people who died. It's 2,069,750 people who did not die. Second point. Again, we have the 130,250 COVID fatalities. Yet, according to the CDC, as of today, 1,466,723 Americans have died of all causes. That's nearly 1.5 million Americans who have passed away from all causes, which means that 130,250 of these were a part of that 1.4 million people who died of all causes. Now, what that represents is 0.8% of the, 8%, I'm sorry, 8% of all the fatalities are COVID. Now, that might mean that that perhaps the fatality figures would be less for this year if we didn't have COVID. But the fact is that COVID has infected the entire world. There's nothing that can be done about that. There is no cure. There is no vaccine yet. So 8% of people who have died between January 1st and July 22nd have passed away from COVID, But let's bear in mind that there were 1,466,723 people who have passed away in this country for various reasons, including natural causes. So let us not get hysterical. Also, the Wall Street Journal today reported that latest studies are showing that the COVID death rate is somewhere between 0.5% and 1% of people who get the disease. It's not 20%, it's not 30%. There are not going to be millions of people, cadavers splayed about the streets. And so what this means is schools can open. There is no data coming out of Europe that shows that people in elementary school, middle school, etc., have come down with the disease. Teachers who are worried about catching this disease, well, if they're afraid, then they should stay home. But if they're going out to Walmart, if they're going out to Home Depot, if they're going out to restaurants, then really they should go to work. And most Americans need to calm down. The virus is going to burn itself out, just as it did in the UK, Spain, Italy, France, New York, etc. It's just going to need to hit a peak in the next month or two, and then it'll burn out in all the states where it's galloping right now. And again, as I've said in previous videos, what they're calling cases are positives, positive test results. A case is somebody who actually has to go to the hospital and be admitted for care. There are 40%, according to the CDC, are asymptomatic, and those who are symptomatic and don't go to the hospital, it's unfortunate and it's going to be painful, but they are going to be sick at home. But even a big percentage of those are only going to have mild symptoms. So the country needs to operate normally. These lockdowns, like we're seeing in California and other places, are counterproductive. They're destroying the economy, and they're meant to skew the election results by spreading economic pain and devastation and societal and psychological dislocation across the country so that people will vote for the Democrats and Joe Biden. Have a good day.